This is more than a bedtime story. It's a glimpse into a life once lived. If you enjoy peaceful, thoughtful tales from forgotten times, subscribe and join me as we explore the quiet strength of those who came before us. Welcome, dear traveler. Tonight you'll be guided far away, not in distance, but in time, beyond the screen's pale glow and the digital noise of now. We'll return to a world quiet and cold, a world without phones, clocks, or screens, a world of wood smoke and wool, of labor and prayer, of silence so deep it felt sacred. You are about to drift into the life of a medieval family, their struggles, their hopes, their pain and peace, a mirror to our own world, but stripped of modern ease. We will walk slowly, listen closely, and gently fall into a time when life was raw, fragile, and full of faith. Let go now. Let the softness of this tale take you where history sleeps. In the village of Eldenmere, morning was not an alarm. It was the cold breath of winter wind slipping beneath the door. There was no running water, no hot shower, no kettle to whistle. The day began with firewood, finding it, splitting it, and praying the coals from the night before had survived. Anselma, a woman of 34 but aged like 50, stirred the hearth with shaking hands. Her husband, Osric, had risen an hour before to check the animal shelter. Their daughter, Selah, no older than 7, slept on a bed of hay and linen beside the fire. Life in the Middle Ages was not measured in hours, but in hunger and weather. There was no salary, no weekends. They earned their survival through labor. Osric worked as a woodcutter. Anselma helped in the field, managed food, wove wool, and bartered soap and thread in town. They didn't own the land. A lord did. Taxes were high. Rights were few. But they had something modern life often forgets: trust in each other, in the sun returning, in their place within the world. Modern comforts could never exist in Eldenmere, but neither did isolation. Women worked endlessly, not just in the home, but in fields, mills, markets, and kitchens. Their work was survival. Anselma washed clothes in icy rivers. She collected herbs to treat wounds. She ground flour, wove thread, traded eggs, and kept the family warm. But it was not freedom. Women had few rights. Marriage was obligation. Education rare. Yet there was dignity in their labor and compassion among women. They taught each other skills. They passed on lullabies. They formed quiet bonds in bread ovens and water wells. Men often saw women as helpers, not equals. Wives were expected to obey. Daughters were married young. Their voices were quiet in the village square, but powerful at home. Some women suffered deeply from childbirth, from men's hands, from being unseen. But they also held the village together with quiet strength. Marriage was rarely for love. It was arranged, strategic, often between families. Dowries exchanged, names combined. But in quiet corners, love sometimes bloomed. A glance at the well, a shared piece of bread, a whispered prayer. Not all were lucky, but some found something gentle in the silence. Sometimes a young woman would fall for a farmhand, or a healer's apprentice might secretly marry a shepherd. Love marriages did exist, but they were rare and often hidden. If a girl loved wrongly, it could mean banishment, or worse. Still, the heart, even in a world ruled by duty, finds its own way. There were no supermarkets, no heaters, no medicines as we know them. Food came from the land: barley, root vegetables, chickens, goats. Meat was rare. Meals were simple: stews, porridge, flatbread. Every bite was earned. When someone was sick, they turned to herbs and prayers: sage for fever, honey for wounds, garlic for strength. If that failed, faith had to do the rest. They slept beside fire pits, covered in wool. On straw, no pillows. The rich had feather beds. The poor had one another. Osric and Anselma slept on a shared straw pallet beside the hearth, Sela beside them, curled like a kitten. They survived winter by planning, by storing, by never wasting, by helping neighbors instead of competing. We live now with too much. They lived then with too little, and yet they endured. Women often died giving life. There were no safe births. Midwives relied on herbs and instinct, and still they gave birth in barns, in candlelight, surrounded by other women, singing softly. Some women became healers, carriers of ancient wisdom passed by whispers and scars. Sisterhood was their strength, in birth, in bruises, in breadlines, and yet, even in hardship, there was love. In the way Anselma wrapped Sela's feet in wool, in the way Osric stayed awake through storms to patch the roof, in the way neighbors would leave bread at each other's doors. Each evening, before sleep, Anselma would kneel by the hearth, her hands red from work, her knees stiff with cold. And still, she would pray, not for gold, not for luck, but for the strength to face another day, for health, for her child. Faith was not performance. It was breath. It was comfort. It was woven into every stitch of linen, every herb gathered, every hand held. The village gathered weekly in the stone chapel. They sang with cracked voices. They lit candles for the dead, for the sick, for the unborn. Children were taught to trust God, not with words, but by example. When storms broke roofs, when crops failed, when fever came, it was prayer, not panic, that filled the air. Even those who doubted knelt in candlelight, because even in silence, faith was a warmth of its own. Their lives were brutal, yes, but never meaningless. They gave thanks for bread, for birth, for the changing seasons. We who have so much forget to be grateful, but they who had so little never forgot. Among the women of Eldenmere, there was a bond stronger than words. Healers, mothers, widows, and young brides. They shared secrets over loaves, told stories while stitching cloth. When Anselma gave birth to Selah, it was the hands of other women that guided her, herbs under her tongue, cold cloth on her brow, whispered prayers and sacred songs passed from mother to daughter. No doctors, no hospitals, only courage. They shared everything: pain, bread, grief. A quiet army, unseen yet vital. And Selma often looked to the sky and wondered, would Selah grow with more freedom, more voice, less burden? She hoped, and she trusted God. The seasons passed. Winters were harsh. Summers were short. But love lingered. So did faith. Seal grew older. Her laugh was soft like her father's. Her patience deep like her mother's. On cold nights, the family would huddle close, not with fear, but with gratitude. For fire, for breath, for love. And now, dear listener, as you close your eyes, remember this. The people of the past had so little, but gave so much. Let their trust become yours. Let their stillness guide you. Let sleep come gently now, as softly as snow. Good night. You are safe. You are warm. And you are blessed